Hello and welcome. My name is Emily DeSimone and I am your host. Thank you so much for joining us for the 24th Annual Garden State Film Festival. This year, we have over 200 films and film-centered events from various countries, all happening across 9 venues from March 26th to the 29th this year. Today, I am here with director, executive producer, and editor Janice C. Molinari of the documentary feature Stronger Than You Think. Janice, thank you so much for joining me today, and congratulations for being accepted into the Garden State Film Festival. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. We're so excited to be part of the Garden State Film Festival. It's hometown, so it's nice to bring the film home.
Please, can you tell us a bit about this film?
Sure. So Stronger Than You Think, honestly, quite a compelling documentary. It's about a young woman named Allie Truitt, who was a swimmer at Yale University. When she graduated in May of 2023, 2 days later, she was in Turks and Caicos celebrating with her best friend when they were attacked by a shark as well. They were snorkeling. Allie lost her foot in the shark attack. And the attack alone would have been like and her survival from the attack would have been such a phenomenal film. But she goes beyond that. She became a transtibial amputee, which means she lost her leg from about 6 inches below the knee down, and decided, I'm going to try to make meaning of this and try out for the Paralympics in 2024, which was just about a year after the attack. So we followed her on her journey of healing. We followed her throughout her learning to have body acceptance again and, training for the Paralympics. And you'll have to come see the film, see what happens.
What a compelling story inspiration. I mean, something like that is so traumatic. What was this filming process like for you?
Quite interesting. We did not know the family, so we were introduced to the family, my producing partners and I, Allie Davis and Melissa Foreman, who I co-directed the film with as well. When we were introduced to the Truitts, there was an interview process. They wanted to document this journey. They're a very private family, but when Allie decided to go for the Paralympics, they decided, okay, this is probably something that we should put a camera to, much to their credit, because such a hard, difficult year of healing, many years of healing actually after an attack like that. So to allow them to allow us to come into their home was, I'm sure, a difficult decision. And, they had to choose the right people. So after speaking with them, they were comfortable with us and we decided to come on board. We, like I said, she was attacked in May of 2023 and she started the healing process, and we started speaking with them in February of 2024. So while they had a lot of footage documented already that they had, shot on iPhones and things like that, we came on board and brought cameras into their homes pretty much full time from February through the Paralympics. And we, coming into a space like that, I have to give kudos to our crew. We had such an amazing and incredible crew because they were so kind of tender about how they sort of approached and very, very respectful, because again, you're entering a home with a lot of trauma. So we tried to film as much as we could and get as much content as we could, but without stepping in the way of her healing process. Allie and her family were very much on board with this. And to her credit, Allie says that if we were just going to show this retrospectively, it would have been the shiny Instagram journey of turning trauma and tragedy into hope. But that was really her goal. And she wanted to show not just the shiny, amazing moments, but the real moments of difficulty and sadness and darkness. And I feel like capturing that balance was what what they allowed us to do, what we strove to do. And it was a good partnership between us and the family.
It sounds really beautiful that, your crew was able to come into this home and approach it in a way that was delicate for this family. Where did you find your crew and how did you find, this story?
Good questions. So the crew, we are, my partners, Melissa and Allie, are with Impact Partners, and we do films on female athletes. So a lot of our crew, not to say anything against the guys, but a lot of our crew were females. So we had female DPs, female underwater DPs, female DITs, so it was very much a crew that was curated for this, but not specifically just for a women's sports film, but, to have that kind of temperament to sort of step in and get what we need without getting in the way. So it was definitely, we're from the industry. So it was definitely a lot of phone calls and a lot of finding people through the grapevine, right? People that we knew that we could work with, and so the auditioning process, particularly for our cinematographers. And we actually found the film. A family friend, Mitch, who is the dad, went to a family friend, asked his opinion about, like, I think he's in the industry, so how are we going to tell this story? Who would you suggest? And Mitch knew my producing partner Melissa, and sort of not Mitch, sorry, his friend knew my producing partner Melissa, and basically pointed Mitch in our direction. And we took a few phone calls and a few interviews and came on board.
So that's, as a father, to see everything going on and be able to move forward, especially watching from the outside. Like I'm personally, like, not to say just but like I'm just a type 1 diabetic, and just seeing the way that my mother would, like, says to me, like, she's like, I would give you my kidney if that would solve all of the problems. And to see his child, with this traumatic injury. So what is it that you believe you want your audience to take away from this, and what comes next for this documentary?
Good question. I do want to say, the family very much followed Allie's lead. Allie, whatever Allie wanted, and how Allie wanted to approach this and capture this was basically that they were on board with. And you'll see when you come to see the film that it's not just Allie. The entire family is an incredible family. She has an incredible support around her, and Allie herself is just an incredible inspiration. So as far as what we hope that people take away from this film is the fact that you can have tragedy in your life and you can overcome it. She is an incredible example. She's probably one of the most inspirational young women I've ever met in my life. And she's gone on to she would have gone on to do amazing things anyway, but she's gone on to create a great life from this. She just ran the New York City Marathon this past fall, and she actually used it as a fundraiser for her foundation, which is also Stronger Than You Think, StrongerThanYouThink.org. And their mission is to help in getting prosthetics to young women who can't afford it, and also, want to participate in sport as well. They also help in the Paralympic movement. So they just created a fund to help athletes who've medaled or who have, taken a place in some of the international competitions. So like U.S. athletes who are swim para athletes don't have to take a second job so that they can train for the 2028 Olympics. And they promote water safety as well.
To be someone that wants to use their life to help others is such a beautiful thing. And honestly, like, I commend her for running the New York City, you said the New York City Marathon?
Yeah.
I can run a 5K, and that's difficult for me. So
more than I can run.
Exactly. Like, that is amazing. So getting to be the person that directed, you produced, you edited everything. What was your favorite part of this project for you? And what would you say was the most challenging part of this project for you?
I would say probably my favorite part was my most challenging part. So it was, spending I have a full-time job. I work at Disney, but spending all of my off hours and all of my off time basically in a back house in front of an edit system, editing hours and hours and hours, 160 hours of footage, or more actually, and spending that time very much alone in her trauma for a long time, for a year. I didn't realize actually how much of her trauma that I absorbed personally. Not that it's about me, but when you sort of sit with that footage day in and day out, that was kind of very difficult. But at the same time, it was such an honor to tell her story, and an honor to be able to sit there and craft it. And with the help of my, co-producers, kind of go, okay, where are we going to go with this story? What's next? What happens if she doesn't make the Paralympics? What happens if she does? So it's sort of like, trying to figure out the path of this story was both challenging, but at the same time, it was very rewarding.
You saying that, like, you absorbed some of her trauma, I think that says something very beautiful about you as a person, because secondhand trauma is very real. Where even if you were not involved with something at all, just hearing someone talk about what they went through and feeling that says something very beautiful and empathetic about you. So
thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And, you being a director and a producer and an editor, what would you say that this project has taught you? Like, is there anything from this project specifically that you learned for the sake of like your career, your filmmaking journey?
That's a great question. I will say it's difficult to look at projects now and say, what's next? Like, what do we want to invest our time in next? As a film or as a subject, because things pale in comparison, right? When you find someone, I've done Paralympic stories in the past, like for the Paralympics, for NBC, but when you take a look at someone who's faced trauma and tragedy in their life and have really come out on the other side of it, like so much better, it makes you better as a person. So to tell those types of stories, they're rare and they're beautiful. And it's difficult to kind of look and see the other projects that are out there or that are offered or that are coming through the door and go, okay, that's, interesting to me, maybe. So it is challenging because like once you've, Allie has faced the most incredibly extreme thing in her life. And I will tell you quite honestly, quite personally, when I've worked with other Paralympians and I've asked them, would you change a thing? Would you change this if you can go back and change this? And everybody said, no, I wouldn't change a thing. This has led me to where I am today. And Allie very much says, like, I would absolutely have my leg back, except for the fact that my story can help other people, help change their lives, help make an impact and a difference. And for that, it's worth the sacrifice.
Well, Janice, thank you so much for joining me today. Will I be meeting you in person at the festival?
You absolutely will. I'm coming. My sister's got a party bus coming down from Morristown with a bunch of family and friends. So we've got a big crew coming. So I hope to see you there, and it's going to be a good time.
I look so forward to meeting you in person. For our audience, Stronger Than You Think will be screening in Asbury Lanes on Saturday, March 28th during the block that runs from 2:45 p.m. to 5 p.m. We hope to see you at the Garden State Film Festival this year with over 200 films screening across 9 venues, including hosting parties, panels, events, and more. Get your tickets at gsff.org/tickets. Janice, thank you so much again for joining me. I look so forward to meeting you in person, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and best of luck moving into your new home.
Thank you. You don't see all the boxes buried behind me, but thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Take care.